This channel is about true, applied spirituality, applied within, silently, reverently, and courageously, in real, inner communion with God. From this channel you will receive what you're willing to give to God within. Spirituality must also be applied without, in real service to God, a service made real because you have tuned into His will, not tuned into the billion-dollar broadcast of the satanic cathedrals and the self-interested, vapid churches of men. The difference, though, between what you give to God and what He gives to you in every moment of your existence is the difference between mortality and divinity. But if you give your whole love and focused attention to God, no matter how little or how big it may be at the moment, as long as it's everything you have to give, you will receive 1,000,000-fold in return, slowly but surely, accumulating billions in bliss until you become a smile trillionaire, and until you become fully liberated in the highest beatitude. This channel has the power to give you everything, for the ever-expanding, ever-deepening love for God is everything. Being fully aware of the love God has for you is called eternal beatific bliss. But your love for God, fully spiritualized, is the greatest force in creation. It's immaculate omnipotence. It's the strength that crushes depravity. It's the wisdom that obliterates ignorance. It's the light of God that dispels all darkness from the hearts of men. It's the vehicle that takes you to God in Formula Om 1 supersonic, superconscious, superhero style. But you have to make yourself fit to receive the ceaseless, immaculate flow of evil, scorching, purifying, eternal love that will slowly but surely, or perhaps rapidly, awaken your own omnipotent love for God. This channel is about your soul and God, not about your ego and the world. This channel is about real experienced love for God, which This channel is about real experienced love for God, which unequivocally leads to infinite union with God's eternal love, God's all-seeing wisdom, and God's ever-renewing bliss, both in everyday life and in cosmic omnipresence, for the pure-hearted, extraordinary devotee. As opposed to dogmatic religion, which alienates God and repulses the soul in every way, with its non-refundable tickets to karmic sorrow, it's soon to be apparent to all indisputable ignorance. It can't no longer sweep it under the papal rape rug. And its seething self-righteous prejudice, tiresome to all but the religiously prejudiced. I'm not here to convince you to have a real inner relationship with God, born of real communion with God. The self-realization of your divinity through the stages of basic belief, devoted faith, and the unshakable spiritual conviction born of direct experience of God, achieved through real meditation, is your number one responsibility, not mine. My responsibility is to bravely be what I am. It matters not that this is hell. For those fully liberated ones who actually love God would return to hell 1,000,000,000 times if through that sacrifice it means that another forgetful child of His would but whisper from his or her aching, longing heart but one soul-freeing thought of love for Him who awaits like a child for your love with tears in his starry eyes. Spiritual training begins with having full faith that whatever comes to you in the form of tests, trials, and circumstances is in your best and highest interest. Spiritual maturity is having the attunement with God and Guru that you may at all times act according to their omnipotent wisdom and will, and having the solace of knowing how the crosses you have carried have made you stronger, how the cross you bear now is making you even stronger, and even if you don't yet know the how and the why, you have full faith that they're making you stronger by your own receptive devotion and proactive effort to change. Spiritual knowing is earning God's grace in such full splendor that you realize He is the one carrying your cross. He is the one lifting all mortal burdens from your shoulders, and you're His blissful devotee. Joyful and carefree, free to play your magnificent God-given role to heroic perfection, ever comforted under the omnipresent mantle of His eternal presence within and without. Spiritual knowing is earning God's grace. Spiritual knowing is earning God's grace in such full splendor that you realize He is the one carrying your cross. He is the one lifting all mortal burdens from your shoulders, and you're His blissful devotee, joyful and carefree, free to play your magnificent God-given role to heroic perfection, ever comforted under the omnipresent mantle of His eternal presence within and without. God said the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. He did not say, the misery of mortal life on earth is all there is to live for, and the promise of free salvation by church membership is your reward for a complacent life lived to indulge your senses and desires. The many who live ignorant, wanton lives, faithful to their dogmas, mindlessly going to church, will harvest immortal divinity, while the few who labor for the real harvest of holiness are to be ignored, forgotten, denied, and their immaculate example desecrated by the dogmatic masses who trample on my holy teachings.